Well, things are looking a bit of a mess at the moment, but stick around and I'll show you the reason why. Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to Piccadilly. Now you might be thinking, well, you put the canopies on and you've taken them off again. Well, there's a very simple reason for that. It's because today is all about fitting lighting to the layout. Now, in here, if you notice, there is quite a lot going on the platforms, as you can see. And if I was going to fit street light type lamps, i.e. like these, I'm not going to be able to get them in very easily. It's going to be very complicated and I think things will get broken. So I've made a decision. I'm going to be using LEDs. So if you can imagine that strip fitted there, I'm going to have 3 banks of LEDs all along the platforms, and the light from these I'm sure will shine right across here. If it doesn't, I'll mount some to the side walls. We'll see how we go on. But the idea is that these will be connected to each other and there will be a tube going down through the platform there, which takes the wires down below under the baseboard. Then it can be wired up to the switch just here. Okay. If you know Piccadilly Station, you'll know that there are globes over the lights, and even with the 3D printer, I think it's going to be quite difficult. I'm not going to buy clear PLA, or the plastic you put through it, purely for that little one purpose, because I won't use it. So it would be an enormous amount of money for a very small amount of work, or a very small amount of product, if you like. So that's where I'm going. So it'll be street lights out here, this style, and it will be LEDs in there. Right, let's move on to the next bit. Right, now you've got the girders here, and you might be thinking, well, where did you get that from? It's actually Hornby fencing, and I've just put a strip of plastic card along the top and I put some channel along the bottom. So two types of channel there. Hopefully that will focus enough to show you. So there's channel top and channel bottom. It doesn't look that great from that angle, to be honest, but it'll serve the purpose. It needs a bit of a repaint, but there's a big update coming on the canopies, and this is part of it, so that will be up very soon. But I can't stick these LEDs to an open gap, so I've had to 3D print some more channel, which you might just be able to make out inside there. In fact, I'll show you. So these are the channels I've just made. Okay, so as you can see, I've now got these different locations to put in. So if I pop that in there, hopefully that should be an interference fit. I mean, if it isn't, I'll just glue it. It's not the end of the world. But that's got it. And you can see it is almost there. Not sure quite what it's that's okay. And then you can see from that, and that will then just sit obviously the right way around, but on there like that. And they come with sticky double-sided tape stuck to the back, so they're self-adhesive. So you just peel that off and stick it on, and it should stay there. Okay, right, onto the wiring bit then. Right, welcome back. Now, these LEDs come in 2 different sorts. You've got this sort, which is what you see here, which has got a silicone cover, and there's this sort, which is a bit wider, and the gaps that you can cut are a bit narrower. So if you want to cut a bit off, you have to cut between the 2 marks, yeah? But you'll also notice just above there there's a plus and at the bottom there's a minus. Now that is critical. And you'll notice there's plus and minus that side. Hopefully that will focus there, plus and minus that side. So plus is this side and the same with that one just there. So I've chosen that all the plus go this side and all the negative go that side. And that means that the wiring should be nice and neat. So I'm going to now wire up. I'm going to have red for plus and black for negative, and just put two wires, wire this to this, this to this, and then I have two wires coming off ready to go down the tube. Right, this is one of the others, but you can see it's all got the lighting fitted in now, and the wires come out of there, and I've fitted these tubes. Now, I know they're not prototypical to Manchester Piccadilly, but I've got to get the wires down to the base somehow. So by putting these little columns in, it's sort of in keeping with what the station's about, but at the same time, it just makes my life an awful lot easier. Now, I have shown these before. This is again just another adapter off Amazon with a variable voltage, and I've set this one to 12 volts because these strip lights run off 12 volts. And if all I've done basically is to cut the plug off the end, it comes with that on the end, and you get varying types of adapter. So I've literally just cut that off, and the idea now is I'm going to plug it in, and I've got to work out which is the live or the positive and which is the negative. And the way I'm going to do that is to literally put it up into this block here, which I've just mounted on the post there, and whichever way round it works, I'll know which one is the red and which one is the negative, or the positive and which one is the negative. Okay, because it'll only work one way round. Well, I don't know whether you can make out the wire now. There's the original junction box. That works its way back through here, down to the switch, and I'll explain in a minute how that's wired up. I'll go back in time if you like. But you might be saying to me, why have you used grey and sort of green yellow? Because I buy the wire in a big household reel, and I strip off the outer sheathing, releasing all the varying colours inside. And that is my colour for 12 volt. 16 volt is AC, and that's brown and blue, and the 3 volt is black and red. And so I've got to use some other colours, and those were available. But you might be thinking, well, why didn't I take the wires up through there? If you remember, I showed you some little brass tubes, and those wires wouldn't go through the brass tube, so I have to do something with smaller wires and then connect it up. You might also notice this strange loop down here is because I've actually gone ahead and wired up the concourse, and I've put release plugs on that so I can pull it out and then plug it back in. So that's why it's all dangling down, because I want it to be easy to remove. So I've just used those old-fashioned plugs, if you like. Those, and then just put a bit of parcel tape around the other one to stop them from shorting out. Okay. Now, just to make it clear what we've got here, I've got this adapter coming up and comes along here, and then into the back of the switch here. So that wire there is the positive wire from the transformer. That one is the negative wire, and what you see there is basically it just goes straight through. It's not attached to the switch at all. The only way this switch works is by breaking the positive wire. See, so this is the positive wire, and I've indicated that with red and red, and obviously we've got a black wire here and black, and I've labelled it at that end as well. You might be able to make out the red and the black tape around the fit in there. Okay, hopefully you did. So hopefully that makes clear. So the positive is the one that's broken and goes through the switch, and the negative is the one that comes out. Okay, you can see on the platforms now, I've drilled out some of the holes and located where they're going to go, the lights, and you'll probably notice there aren't any lights down here. That's because there are 3 platform canopies, and obviously I need to make space for those. Those will have LEDs on them when that finally gets around to getting done, which will be, I dare say, a few months yet, but we'll see how it goes. So that's all. I want to get these lights in, so to start getting a little bit more of a feeling to the whole station. It looks very, very bare. Anyway, what I'm going to do next is to take each of these, twist the 2 sets of wires together, because we've got 2 red and 2 silver, or just pieces of metal for the negative. And then I'm going to solder an extension wire to those, purely because it's easier to put a thicker wire into the terminal blocks underneath the layout. Okay, my feed for the red and black is coming into those terminal blocks, and that then will be connected up to each. So there'll be wires coming off to create like a bus wire going to each bank of lights, and then that will be all get plugged into that terminal block underneath that, and then that will feed back to the switch that's just there. Okay. Okay, on to the next bit now. So I'm going to start mounting up a few of these, and the first thing to check is whether they actually work. There's no point in wiring them all up if you find out afterwards they don't work. So it's best to have a 3-volt source. Now again, very similar to what I showed you with the 12-volt, I've got 3-volt and it's just set to, hey, 3 volts. It's not rocket science. And I just choose a terminal block on here to test it with, and it's going to be a bit difficult to do one-handed, but you get the idea. I just put those 2 wires into those 2 terminals and the lights come on. Just put them into the screw heads and just literally just poke them in, and that will test whether your LEDs are working or not. Okay. There's all the lights in, so let's get them all wired up and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Well, all the lights are now wired up. You ready to see it? There we go. Well, it's amazing. I say it every time I see other people doing it. The difference that lights make is just absolutely stunning. And now do bear in mind there's no lights here yet because there's 3 platform canopies got to go on, and there's no lights on platform 13, 14 because I've got to build it. So there's no point in putting lights on it yet. But they will all be populated with lights at the end here, and well, would have been at the other end, but again you won't see that. Now the what I have noticed is that the light from this section is more yellow and would be better if it's more the same. So what I might do is change the LEDs so that they are the same type. I probably should have checked that, but when I put I got 2 sorts. One was slightly wider than the other, and I chose the narrower one, but I'm really pleased with that. Just give you a view from down below. Just look up through here. And now it's all lit. The whole canopy is all lit up. If I do that, you can see inside as well. Going across to one of the others, you can see all the structure. And there's the pendolino. That's becoming my new best friend now. It's weird, isn't it? It's taken all this time to get it working, and now it is working. That will be reliveried soon, that pendolino. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there, so please take a look at the 2 videos that are appearing on your screen right now, and I'll catch you again here on Piccadilly very, very soon. Bye for now.